So a few days back, we were in my chemistry lab and we were waiting for the teacher to give us the practical for the day. And as it happens in every classes, there were groups. And so there was this group sitting in the farther corner of the classroom, and I overheard their conversation. Do you know what they were talking about? OnlyFans. They were talking whether they had an OnlyFans account or not. And not that surprising given the context, they were also talking about who their favorite P star was. Me and my one friend sitting beside me, we just heard them talking and we just stared at each other. We were baffled, and our reaction said it all. And the most surprising thing is that those people, they were talking about it as if it's a completely normal thing, as if they're talking about who's their favorite singer or who's their favorite actor. Alright, they were not at all surprised. In fact, they were quite proud that they're being modern and they're being like Gen Z type things. At that point, I realized that our generation is fucking doomed. I'll give you an example, and with that example, you notice a pattern and see how our generation is being controlled. So during the Flavian dynasty in ancient Rome, what happened that the government was really corrupt. It did all sorts of malicious practices. Like they used to burn people's houses, they used to commit homicides, they used to murder people, they used to loot people, they used to spoil the taxpayers' money. They used to do all sort of things that you can imagine a government to do today. Alright, all these sort of things, you can imagine what I'm trying to say. Alright, and what would happen is that people would start protesting, people would start disagreeing to that, especially the youths, because they are the most energetic and they are the future of any given country or the world in general, right? So what they did was they built a colosseum, and not one, they built many colosseums. And once people started protesting, what they did was that organize different sort of events. Alright, with events I mean they organize dance events, they organize erotic events, they organize animals versus human sort of fights, like bulls versus human beings. They organize like tigers or lions versus animals, all sort of the circus and things that entertain people. If you notice the pattern, then that is exactly what's happening right now. Alright, the young people, the government knew. Alright, you can see where the world is heading. There is inflation, there is wars going on, all sorts of nonsense. There was this virus as well, like don't want to talk about it, but the world is not really in a very healthy place. And the government or the people who really control it knows that if the youth becomes aware of it, it is going to be a problem for them, because it would harm their empire and their businesses and their things that they do. So, to make sure that that does not happen, they have the mega conditioning factory, the school, which takes off most of the youth's time. Or they have got colleges which distract the people. They give people a false sense that they're learning new things, whereas they're just being conditioned and trained. There's a difference in being trained and educated. The concentrated power that is in the hands of the top 0.0001%, they're using it and controlling the rest of the 99%, especially the youth, especially the people of our age proximity, especially the age of, I would say, 15 to 24, like Gen Z and the young millennials. And the problem is, the biggest problem, I would say, it's not that they're being controlled. No, that's not the problem. Because we have also got people like us who know that is how the thing works. We have got many people like us that know that this thing exists and controls. But the problem is, these people who need this information the most, they are never going to realize it. Because what they think is that they're being entertained, and it's a completely normal thing. They're being modern, they're being up to date. Alright. And this is the epitome of top level brainwashing that's happening, that's going on. Because these people, they don't even realize that what they're doing is pathetic. How do you expect to talk about such nonsense, and how do you expect that thing to be normal, and how can you talk about it so I was so baffled that day, I cannot put it in words. It was I never in my world expected something to happen just in my own classroom. This incident that happened with me, it was the epitome of what happened in history. It was an epitome example of what had happened in history. And as it always happens with history, it is repeating itself. And with that being said, I'll see you soon.